Outside Vav Min Aleph, the Mishnah towards the top of the Amud. Zok the Mishnah, Ma bein Pesach Mitzrayim Pesach Teiros. What are the chalukim of the dinim between the Korban Pesach Klal Yisrael and Klal Yisrael brought on Yud Daled Nisan before they left Mitzrayim, and the Korban Pesach that was subsequent after they left Mitzrayim? Pesach Mitzrayim Mechav Asar. The Korban Pesach Mitzrayim, it was taken on the 10th day of Nisan, 4 days prior to the shlit. That's only there, but it does not apply to Pesach Doris. The Ton Hazah, and it also needs the sprinkling of the blood, Bagudas Ezai, with the Agudah, with the bundle of the Hisab, Alamashkav, Al Shtemeses. And it had to be applied to the lintel and the doorposts. That was only in Pesach Mitzrayim. As the Tesis Yontov explains, Pesach Doris is not applicable. This was to distinguish between the Batim, the houses of the Yidden and the Mitzrim. So it was not applicable. It's not relevant to Pesach Doris, so it doesn't apply. And it has to be eaten. The Torah says that in Pesach Mitzrayim, it says that you have to eat it b'chiboza, quickly. It has to be eaten in haste. B'layla echad, only during one night. It's only during one night. Now the Gemara will explain what does this mean, because Pesach Doris also is only eaten one night. So we'll see in the Gemara what the meaning of this expression is. Pesach Doris not kol shiva. Pesach Doris is noyeg kol shiva. It's noyeg for all 7 days. Now again, this is not referring to the Korban Pesach, because the Korban Pesach is not noyeg 7 days. We'll see in the Gemara what specifically this refers to. Zog the Gemara Menolam. Where do we know this, that the Pesach Mitzrayim had to be designated on the 10th day of Nisan, 4 days in advance? Dabru el kol adas Yisrael imar basur l'chayish hazeh ve'yikchu. It says, speak to Klal Yisrael, and on the 10th day of this month of Hazeh, take the kid for the Korban Pesach, take the animal for the Korban Pesach. Zeh Mekhabasor, Vein Pesach Doris, Mekhabasor. Specifically this one. This one is taken on the 10th. Pesach Mitzrayim, but not Pesach Doris. Fact the Gemara. Well, if that's the case, El Miyata, the Pasuk says, Vayalachem Mishmeres Adarba Asayim Lachodesh. It says that the animal should be for you, and you should be guarding it until the 14th day of Nisan. Achanami, are you going to darshan also hazeh to mean specifically this and not for the future ones? Achanami zet ton bikar arba yomim kodim shchita. Are you going to say that only Pesach Mitzrayim has to be examined for a mum, that there shouldn't be a mum, it has to be examined 4 days before the shchita, vein acher ton bikar, but not Pesach Doris? Is that so? Vatanya, we learn in the Baraisa. Ben Bagbag Aimer, he says, Minayin Latomid Shetot, Bikar Arba Yomim Kodim Shchita. How do we know that the Korban Tomid also has to be examined for 4 days before you shech the Korban Tomid? Shenemar Tishmul Hakriv Li B'Mo'adayim. It says that you make a mishmer, you guard it, L'Hakriv Li, to bring it to me, to offer it as a Korban for me at the right time, at the point in time. Ul'Halan Hu Aimer, and it says, by Pesach Mitzrayim, Vayalachem Mishmeres Adarba Asar, and it says by Pesach Mitzrayim that it's a Mishmeres. It says again Tishma Mishmeres to the 14th. Ma Lahalon Ton Bikar Arba Yomim Kaidim Shchita, just like Pesach Mitzrayim. It needs to be examined 4 days prior to the Shchita. Avkan Ton Bikar Arba Yomim Kaidim Shchita. So here too, the Tomid, the Korban Tomid, also needs to be examined 4 days prior to the Shchita. So you see that it's not limiting Davka to the Pesach Mitzrayim. The more answers, Shani Hasam Dachsiv Tishmu. It says Tishmu, it's Exerashah. O Pesach Doris Nami Aksiv, and by the Pesach Doris for the future generations, it also says Vavaratas Avodas Zayis B'Chodesh Hazeh, Shiukol Avodas Chodesh Zekazeh. To teach you that the avodas have this chodesh of Nisan have to be all the same. So therefore, just like we have by Pesach Mitzrayim that there's bikur, it has to be examined, so too we learn out that similarly that the Pesach Doris also has to be examined. So because we equate the two. But when it says that hazeh It says, that hazeh is to be mamayit, not Pesach Rishon, is to be mayit from examination, from Bikur to Pesach Sheni. The Pesach Sheni does not require Bikur, because it's mamayit, a similar type of Korban Pesach. Pesach Mitzrayim was for only 1 day, Pesach Sheni is for only 1 day, Pesach, the regular Korban Pesach Rishon L'Doros, is for 7 days. So therefore, the Hazeh by the Bikur is only being Mamayit Pesach Sheni, not Pesach Rishon L'Doros. As Rashi explains, however, the Hazeh that it says by the Techsi Dabro Kol Bnei Yisrael Imar Basar Al Chodesh Hazeh V'Yikchu, that Vazeh, that extra Vazeh is to be Mamayit Pesach Rishon from the Lekicha, from the designating it, that applies only to Pesach Rishon, not to the Pesach Mitzrayim rather, but not for Pesach Doros. Because for Pesach Sheni, I wouldn't need this meal for Pesach Sheni, because the Pesach Sheni meal would be included in the Hazeh that we have by the pasuk that says L'Mishmeres and Arba Sar Yom L'Chodesh Hazeh. So that is therefore applied to Pesach Rishon L'Doros, that Pesach Rishon L'Doros, the mekach of it is not required 4 days in advance. But the Bikur, the examination is. You have to eat the meat on that night. You mean to say it's only Pesach Mitzrayim that's eaten at night, not Pesach Doros? Pesach Doros is also eaten at night. We don't dash on the Hazeh for that purpose. Omer Krav Avarata Es Avoida. It says that you do the avoida in this month, meaning to teach you that all of the avoidas in this month are the same. So therefore, it's eaten at night as well. El Hazeh Lamali. So what do we darshan from the Hazeh in this pasuk of Alchlos Abbas B'Layl Hazeh? Look at Rabbi Ben Azar of Rabbi Kiva for the Dirshu of Rabbi Kiva that it's eaten either until Chatzos or like Rabbi Kiva until Alaysa Shachar. That the time of the eating it, what is the maximum time of eating of the Korban Pesach? It says that an orel, a person that didn't have a meal, he cannot eat the Korban Pesach. You should say the same type of meal, boy, in it. In the Korban Pesach Mitzrayim, he doesn't eat aval oichel b'Pesach doiros. Maybe he should therefore make the same deal. And only in Pesach Mitzrayim he can't eat, but he could eat Pesach doros. And we know that that's not the case. That Pesach doros and orel cannot eat it. It says that all of the avodas of the month of Nisan are the same. So if that's the case, what do we exclude from the word boy? Boy ain't oichel, aval oichel b'matzah more. He doesn't eat the Korban Pesach, but the oral could eat the matzah amor. But he does eat the matzah amor. The Ran says that the more is lav davka really. It's just the matzah and more go together in an expression, but more is lav davka because the mitzvah eating more is connected to the Korban Pesach. If he doesn't eat the Korban Pesach, then he's potter midaraisa on the more as well. It says, called ben nechar lo yochel boy. It says someone who is a mumar, he's a nizachru, that his ma'aseh of aviv shebishamayim, he is a mumar, he can't eat the Korban Pesach. Achanami the boy eno yochel, aval yochel hu bepesach l'doros. You mean to say that boy, it's only exclusion in the Pesach Mitzrayim, but Pesach Doros and Mumar could eat it. We know that's not the case. We know that a Mumar cannot eat the Korban Pesach. All of the avoiders are the same. Boy, Hamaras Das Poiselas. Bein Hamaras Das Poiselas Betruma. It's boy, it's only in the Korban Pesach. An whole Korban Pesach, but only Korban Pesach, and it doesn't passel him from eating Truma. The Itzrich Lemechta Voral Vitzrich Lemechta Beinecha. And the Torah has to say both of them, both of these cases. The cause of Rachmana Orel, if it only said that the Orel cannot eat the Korban Pesach, Mishum Demois, I would think he's disqualified because of this defect that he doesn't have a milah, is considered mois, is repugnant. Aval ben nechar loy moyes, but a ben nechar, his heart is wrong, is corrupted, but he doesn't have this physical blemish defect. So ema loy moyes, say ema loy. I would think that he's not disqualified. Sricha. Yashmina ben nechar, and it only said ben nechar that is disqualified. Mishum de'ein liba l'shamayim. I would think because his heart is not l'shamayim. Aval orel the liba l'shamayim, but an orel that he doesn't have the mila. But it's a case of in a case of machmas mila, that his brothers died during the mila, meaning he couldn't have the mila, not because he didn't want to do the mila, it's because it was dangerous. So his liba is l'shamayim emaloi. Maybe I would think he could partake in the Korban Pesach. Tzrich, I need both of them. That's why I need both of them. It says in the Korban Pesach, it says a taishav and a sachim. So these types of people, meaning the people who you hired, they're hired workers or slaves. They're not yidden. They're only people who are living with you or working for you. But it says they can't eat the Korban Pesach. You mean to say they can eat Pesach Deiros? No, it's the same. They can't eat Pesach Deiros either. By them we say that Hamaras das Beiselas, Vein Hamaras das Beiselas Betruma. It's only by this case, by the Korban Pesach. But he could eat Truma. But Truma he could eat. So Rashi says, L'chera, we're not Geiros this because we already know this, that from the previous Limud, that the Hamaras das does not disqualify him from Truma. So Rashi suggests that perhaps we are not Geiros this section. It says by the Korban Pesach, you give him mila, and then he can eat it from it. Mean to say that it's only the mila disqualifies from the Pesach Mitzrayim, but not Pesach Deiros. It says Vavarata. It's all the same. All the avodas of the Chodesh Nisan are the same. Ela boy lamali. So what's the boy for? What's the exclusion for? Boy mila zachar vavada makeves. It's only in the Korban Pesach that the mila of his children and his slaves, his avadim kananim, that's ma'akiv him from the Korban Pesach. Vein mila zachar vavada makeves betruma. But that does not stop him from eating truma. It prevents him from eating the Korban Pesach, but not from truma. It says you can't break the bone of the Korban Pesach. You mean to say that in Pesach Deiros you could break the bone? No, all of the avodas are equal. It teaches me that the breaking of the bone is only by a korban that's kosher, but not by a korban that's possible. It's only by a korban that's kosher, but not by a korban that's possible. Tosfos asks the kasha, how could you have a havamina that the Pesach Deiros that you could break the bone? So how can I have a havamina for that? And what do I need the avarata to teach me that's not the way? How can you possibly say that? The pasuk says befeiros by Pesach Sheni that you can't break the bone. So if you can't break the bone by Pesach Sheni, that kosher came by Pesach Rishon, you can't. Pesach Sheni is if he was not able to do the Pesach Rishon. So if you can't, the Torah says explicitly by the Pesach Sheni that there's an issur of breaking the bone, certainly by Pesach Rishon. So why do I need this limud to teach me that? The Maharsha answers, he says that in Hanami I would know that from Pesach Sheni. However, if I didn't have this limud to teach me by Pesach Rishon that there is an issur of breaking the bone, if I didn't have this limud, and if I only learned it out from Pesach Sheni, then I would not be able to darshan the pasuk by Pesach Sheni for a different drasha. Now we do darshan the pasuk by Pesach Sheni either according to Isi ben Yehuda that it applies whether the bone has a marrow or doesn't have a marrow, or according to the Rabbana to darshan that it excludes certain pratim from the Pesach Sheni of the avodah of the Korban Pesach. So the fact that I need the drasha to tell me explicitly that I know that by Pesach Rishon there's an Isser Esem Leisishbaro, to teach me that what it says by Pesach Sheni is for these additional drashas. No, you can't eat the Korban Pesach partially roasted, the Pesach Mitzrayim. Are you going to dash me menu iyatal oichel avatal oichel no Pesach dairis? Are you going to say that you can eat it? No, partially roasted the Pesach dairis. We know that you can't. Amar krova avarata. Ela mimenu lomeli. So what is the mimenu? The meat of mimenu. Al toichel mimenu. No, what is that for? Look at Rav Yitzchak, look at Rava Amar Yitzchak. There's the drasha of Rava Amar Yitzchak, who says that we learn out mimena gzera shavam to Ma'aser Sheni, and it's to teach me, and that's like the Pesach can't be eaten by a person who didn't have Mila. Ma'aser Sheni also, a person who didn't have Mila can't eat the Ma'aser Sheni. The mimena is not for the exclusion, the mimena is for the gzera shavam.